march on till victory is won.
Singing Lift Every Voice and Sing, a hymn known as the Black National Anthem in America, as they celebrated June 19th becoming a federal holiday, the day that General Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and brought freedom to the final enslaved Americans. Juneteenth has long been celebrated here in Texas, but it's rarely taught in other parts of the country until now. So tonight we learn a bit more about the nuances and some misconceptions about Juneteenth.
One big misconception. I mean, we were a separate nation. So when Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, as far as Texas and the 11 Confederate states were concerned, it had no effect. Another misconception that people have is like slaves didn't know they were free until. Look, throughout the South, there were newspapers, word was getting around, everybody knew what was happening.
Was there hesitation among Texas slave owners at the time?
Absolutely. I mean, that was the big issue. I mean, white supremacy and across the South and the United States was a very big issue and was a very real issue. And so they saw no reason for freeing their slaves because the idea was this is just a temporary phase. As soon as right-minded people take control, we're going to get our slaves back.
Did the Emancipation Proclamation, when it reached Galveston, come with any consequence if a slave owner did not follow through?
So the military was put in charge of overseeing the enforcement of these acts. And it was very difficult. There were a lot of arrests. There were a lot of military trials. To be quite honest, there was a lot of brutality among some former slave owners. I mean, they didn't want their slaves freed. They didn't believe in social equality. You know, overnight, they were not going to accept that. And it took, generations. There's a very interesting story. The highest ranking Texan to serve in the Confederacy was John H. Reagan. And he was the Postmaster General for the Confederate States of America. And Reagan, after the war, was arrested, was imprisoned at Fort Donelson. And he pens this letter to Texans, and he says, look, things can go one of two ways. They can either be very harsh for us or they can be easy for us. And if we want them to be easy, you're going to have to accept the end of slavery, and you're going to have to allow African Americans the right to vote. And that proved too difficult for most Texans to adopt. And so we had generations of voter suppression. You had the Klan operating here in Texas. We called it the Knights of the White Camellia. But I mean, you had some serious violence as a result of the end of slavery.
Tomorrow, we dig deeper into why American schools are only starting to teach some of these details, but also why this holiday is a day of pride, not shame, in our nation's past.